I often describe industrial organizational psychology as one of the most powerful guilds in corporate America that you've never heard of, because professionals in our field are responsible for the selection processes, so who gets in the door for those organizations, and also the performance management systems, so how people are motivated inside those organizations. And when we launched our program over a decade ago, we had this goal of not only providing world-class preparation and education for our students, but also in training in IO psychology, but also preparing them as people to have them sort of get feedback and to understand what it means to develop themselves as they enter out. And when we launched the program, we launched based on what we call 4 pillars. These are really important things for our guild, but also really important to understanding the experience of students in our program. And one of those is research. Another one is practice, what it means to practice in the guild. Another one is you. We call it you because it's this idea that you are one of the most powerful instruments of change. And then finally, the issue of character, which we have found to be one of the most important pillars of the program. What does it mean for us to be people of character, and to ask some important questions around what that means? And those pillars still stand as the foundation for our program today.
From the beginning, our program has been founded on 4 pillars, and research is the first of those pillars. Research is systematically investigating human attitudes and behaviors. And the reason that this is so important is because we need an accurate picture of the world before we can be making decisions about the welfare of people and organizations. For most of us, it's our natural tendency to fail to look at the totality of evidence when we are investigating the world. And another thing that we do is we give too much weight to certain pieces of evidence. And this results in kind of a skewed perception. None of us are fully objective when we are looking at the world. This is why we need sound scientific methods, because those provide a check on our own biases so that we can do the best that we can when we serve individuals in organizations as scientist practitioners in the field. My goals as Director of Research in this program is first to help students be responsible consumers and producers of research so that in the end we can make informed, accurate, wise, and compassionate decisions when it involves the welfare of the individuals whom we serve in organizations.
One of the core pillars of the SPU program is practice. And practice is interesting because it's a verb, it's not a noun, and practice is something you're going to do a lot of as part of the SPU program. You will be practicing building a training module that you offer. You will be practicing working with real teams inside of our programs. As you're learning organizational development, you will be applying organizational development. There are questions you can answer. So, for example, if you're developing leaders, what are the 3 biggest things you need to do? What are the critical elements that really make a difference? There are 2 other things you need to know that as part of the IO program. Number 1 is that we are very challenging. This is not an easy program. You will learn as part of it, and it will stretch you. You will also be surrounded by professors who care about your learning and by fellow cohort students who are in it at the same time you are, and you're going to figure it out together. Finally, what's important in practice is we have this really rich network of graduates at the Gates Foundation and at Amazon and at Apple and several other organizations in the local area and nationally who still feel like they're part of the SPU community, who are part of our community. And so those are folks you can call up and ask advice for. Those are folks who you can call up for informational interviews, can build on their network during the program and when you graduate.
IO psychology is a helping profession. It's a profession where you are the tip of the spear. This work happens with you, but often through you. And so it's important that you develop. You'll be bringing to bear our science as well as our practice to organizations who are often at an inflection point, a place where if they don't change, if they don't get the necessary results, they may go away. Or the very things that they're working on may not be effective. They may not develop the cure that might do away with a particular disease, let's say. Or they may not develop a technology that might make us all more effective and be more competitive in this world. But this all happens through you. And so in our program, it's really important that you develop. Self-awareness is key, right? It's necessary, and it's not just sufficient. We need the science, but it moves into the practice as well. And so self-development happens through self-awareness, your ability to self-regulate and self-monitor, and then ultimately as well is to be spontaneous in those moments. We model this, we develop it, and then we also ensure that our science doesn't stay in the journals, but moves into places where it gets applied. And that's where change happens.
The final pillar of our program is character. And character for us is not just some ambiguous definition of character, but we're talking about a specific way of showing up in the world. We say that around here this means we're looking to develop in ourselves and to develop in our students a sacrificial character that has this courage that's a part of who we are, but there's also this willingness to sacrifice. And we're often asked, what does it look like to study at a Christian university like Seattle Pacific University? And what that means is that we believe that God sacrificed himself, that he sacrificed his son in the form of Jesus Christ for us, people who didn't necessarily deserve that sacrifice. And one way to describe that is grace. That we would say that one of the fundamental values around what it means to live out character in our program would be to understand my own need for grace and then offer that same grace to other people. And also understanding what it means to lead strong into the world, but also to lead with the same sacrifice that around here we believe that God sacrificed for us. And so that's why character is one of the primary foundations of what this is all about.
In one of my first classes with Dr. McKenna, he asked, "Do you want to be happy or whole?" At first, I didn't have an answer, but by the end of the class, I knew that if I wanted to be whole, I was in the right place. This program creates the space for self-reflection and has allowed me to become more critically thoughtful of the world around me. The research that goes on here inspires me daily, and it is humbling to learn alongside a group of incredible individuals who are becoming strong and connected leaders.
When I started this program, I remember saying that I didn't just want to be good, I wanted to be great, but I didn't really know what that was going to look like. But after reflecting back on the past 4 years, 2 things really stand out to me that this program has done. It pairs the what with the why really well. The what comes through in all the research projects, the rigorous courses that we take, and all the application that we do to real organizations. But the real differentiator for me is the why. The time and the critical thinking that I took, the reflection time to understand who I am as an IO practitioner and how I'm going to impact the lives of the people that I reach. That's the differentiator that's moved me from good to great.
When we started, I really don't think I could have imagined the impact of the program today. Our students are now in every major corporation organization that I can think of. We have alumni who are functioning in leadership roles in those different places. But not only that, we now have alumni and students who are engaging and working with populations of people in our world who are oftentimes underserved and ignored. Whether it's working with Dalit or untouchable populations in India, or whether it's serving into nonprofits in the United States that are trying to understand how to solve some really challenging social issues in our world, that our program has had tremendous influence. And so it's been amazing to watch the influence and what might come about as we continue to graduate students of the highest character and competence who will go out and be leaders of change in some of the most powerful institutions of our world.